Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, thank you for joining the live broadcast this evening. We'll give a bit of time and allow more people to join in. Welcome, good evening, good evening. Good evening, welcome to the Thriving Family Table Talk. How was our day? I hope it went well. I'm trying to, yes, she will soon be with us. My sister Mimi. This technology. Thank you for joining in. I'm trying to get Mimi to join the call. Go live. Wait. Today's topic will be total quality parenting. Total quality parenting. And it's okay. I think she should be able to join now. I can't see you yet. Okay. Oh, sis. Yes, I can see her now.
Yes,
How are you?
Good evening. Hope your day went well.
Oh, yes, it did. It did. It
You
did.
look radiant today. I love the hair.
Yeah, and you're wearing my best color also, purple.
Well,
Okay.
between mommy duties and making this time, I just thought to be comfortable. So yeah, with this t-shirt, I can juggle from the kitchen
Yeah, yeah.
to this show because we can't afford to have our guests waiting. Good evening,
Yes,
everyone. Thank you so much.
yes. Thank you
Where
for
are you
coming.
watching us from? Join in, join in. We couldn't wait to see you again this Wednesday. We hope your day went well. Please join in and let's get this show started. It can't be um, um, awesome without you. So join us and let's know. Just drop a comment, your name, where you're joining from. Let's do this together. Thank you, Naomi.
Thank you. Thank you, sis. Today's topic, it was especially chosen for you. Total quality parenting, aka TQP.
Yes.
So today we'll be looking at several subtopics under it. Like the first one is, so you take that balancing love, discipline, and guidance. Balancing love, discipline, and guidance. I know sometimes there's a thin line between love and discipline. So we must use positive discipline techniques. We don't need to bother ourselves over every mistake our children make. So we need to learn to redirect, learn to ignore. So sis, talk about it. Ignoring minor misbehavior and the likes, balancing love, discipline, and guidance.
Well, on this note, Naomi, I'm going to be talking to myself because
Wow.
the Niger, the Niger mom syndrome. We do more of yelling, we do more of scolding than we do affirmations. But I think we're about to change the trajectory of things. And yes, it's a good thing that you're talking about balancing love and discipline, because it's actually a very thin line in between. I'm not an authority in this area, but I can tell you for a fact that, the only way to do this and what is working for me is I try to cast my mind back to when I was younger, maybe a teen, and I think about how I wished maybe my mom or dad would have handled some issues. There were times when you got scolded, maybe publicly, and for children who are really sensitive, that will make it even worse because they withdraw, sometimes they even rebel. There were times when you just felt like mom should, there were times as a teenager when you'd say, when I grow up and I have my own kids, I won't do this, I won't do that. So casting my mind back to that time and remembering what I wished mom or dad would have done differently and trying to now be that parent. And, I'm very, very open with my kids. I have sessions when we sit down and have roundtable discussions and I say, oh, what do you like? What don't you like? What do you think? And my kids are very, very free to tell me, Mom, you did this and I didn't like it. The other day I had a discussion with my daughter, my teenage daughter. I'm emphasizing the teenage because, those are the ones that, and it was a heart laid bare conversation. And really, I had to do a lot of soul searching. And so that was helpful. So in as much as you're the parent, understand that you're the parent, but you are not also you are not the standard. I think the mistake we make is that we always see ourselves as the standard. The old saying, when I was like you, I did this. Every parent came first in class. And sometimes you're finding that those things are not true. So you're not the standard, you're just the caregiver. God is the ultimate standard. So redirect your children to God and don't expect them to be like you. I used to be very careful as a child, so sometimes I found myself saying, I could use one math set for the whole session. How come you guys are misplacing? But they're not you. And you don't want them to be you because you're not the standard. If anything, you want them to be better than you. So yeah, putting that into consideration and understanding that dialogue. I'm so grateful we talked about communication last week. So have roundtable discussions with them. Let them know that this is a safe place. They can talk. You will hear amazing things, and you find the places where you are lacking behind, and you retrace your steps a little. So yeah.
You know what? I'm laughing heartily. I remember my son. He said, my young adult son. He said, Daddy, my grandfather is not my father. You are my father. If they raise you that way, I'm not going to take it. As it just, as in the thing dawned on my husband. He said, really? I said, but I now went there. I said, no, but I've been telling you. Or is it one day he said, how come when you want him to do anything, he does it for you? I said, because you command, you change. You have to learn to change at different phases of a child's life. That will lead me to the next subtopic we're taking today, understanding the children's developmental needs. They are humans like us. They have emotional needs, they have cognitive needs, they have spiritual needs, they have physical needs. You must learn at different stage what they need, how to direct them, what tone to use, what mode of communication, whether you are counseling, whether you are coaching. As a parent, you have to be a coach, unpaid counselor. It's your whole role. You just collapse them into so much. So understanding your children's developmental needs will help you be a total quality parent. So sis, over to you.
Yeah, understanding what they need, like you said, for a child to be said to be living in a state of perfect welfare and well-being, it's a sum total. It encompasses both their physical, mental health, emotional well-being. So it's not one or the other. It's not either or. It's all or nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, who better to ask than the child themselves? When you put their opinions, their feelings, and their needs into your parenting strategies or approach, then you begin to get it right. Always check with them, But then again, discipline is key. Even the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. So I always let my children know that I'm your mother, I'm not your friend, in that sense. So yes, you can be free with me because I'm your mother. You can come and say, hey, mom, and all of that. Sometimes I can lie on the floor, you jump on me, it's fine. But then I'm not your friend, I'm not your playmate. So you should be able to draw the line. When mommy says, this one is not up for discussion, you know. I remember my daughter telling me she wanted to go for a sleepover, and I said no. She wasn't happy
Yeah.
about it. She said, but I stood my ground and I said, you're not going for the sleepover. She frowned a bit, but later on, and always discuss your decisions. Don't let them feel like it's you're just a military person who just dishes out orders. And so whenever you decide that this is not something they can do, bring them to an understanding. Kids understand. You'll be surprised at how much they understand. Now, it's a safer place when you bring them to the understanding that this is why they can do this is why they can't do that. So on their own, they think about it and they decide that, okay, I'm doing this because I know why I don't have to do it, or I'm doing it because I know why I have to do it. You don't even want your kids to be in that place where they're simply following your instructions. You want them to know how to do right and be right for themselves. So when they do it, it's not just because mommy and daddy are barking at us and giving us instructions. It's because they want to. And that's the best place you want them to be, because you're never going to be with them all their lives.
Yeah, because that's a part of their needs is teach them how to handle their emotions. Their emotional needs very key, because, like she has already mentioned, we will not be with our children forever. So you train them. Like I always tell my son, you know why I did this? Because I'm training somebody's father and I'm training somebody's husband. So everything is built in it. So you have to train them in such a way that they're able to handle transactions on their own. Transactions on their own. Then last week we talked about communication. So today, let's just briefly look at effective communication within the family. I know you have to actively listen. There has to be empathy, openness. There has to be a specific family time to share what has happened. Like for instance, I remember when doing school run, I asked, "Oh, how was your day?" Everybody's you talk about it. I also raised, I know a good parenting style which I used is raising my children that anything that goes wrong, tell me about the good and bad things that happened in your day. I created that environment for them. So my first son will tell you, Mom, this is what happened today. I broke the plate today. I did this. And I said, okay, thank you. When he doesn't tell me, that's when I react. But the second child, I will tie it to the developmental needs. He will tell you, she can't see that it's broken. At that point, I knew I had to change my parenting style. So, Mimi, you know, you have children. And we mothers and even all fathers who are also parents, you don't use the same parenting style for each child. You just have to keep understanding. So as a parent, you have to be understanding, you have to be patient, you have to, you have to be calm, you have to be consistent in explaining, pre-explaining, directing, counseling. You have to just give the children comfort. She has talked so much about it, that make them comfortable, because if they are not comfortable, they won't speak to you. You just be raising children that in future they will have adverse childhood experiences, and it will now be traumatic for them, and they won't be able to express their emotions. So, sis, effective communication within the family, speak about it briefly.
Yeah, we already talked a lot about that. That's a very wide area that, it has to be ongoing. The discussion has to be ongoing, and we'll find a way to inject it into all our conversations, because really that's the fuel that runs any organization, and the family unit is not an exemption. But just to add a little to what you said, even with communication, it has to be carrot and stick approach. So most of the time when children refrain from telling you things, especially when it's something negative, it's because of the fear of punishment. If I tell mommy I did this, so how we react when children, I like what you said about telling them that if you let me know you broke this plate or you did this thing that is wrong, I wouldn't be angry with you. I'd rather help you through so that next time you prevent it from happening. But when you let them know that, okay, whether you tell me or not, or you always react in a way that scares them, they will shy away from telling you stuff. There is a study that shows that children who shy away from telling their parents things, or they keep things, it's because of the way we reacted when they told us. If they told us, mommy, I was punished in school because I fought, and you now descend on them, and but if you take it slowly and understand with them, okay, why did this happen? Why you need to make sure it doesn't happen? Like I said, from a place of understanding, they will know to do right and be right. So open communication as always, even with the children, and let it be. There's this carrot and stick approach. Reward good behavior. Reward them, even if they've done something wrong, and then they are confident to come and confide in you. Try and get a hold of your emotions. That thing that wants to make you react, just refrain from it and reward them first of all. This isn't good, but I'm happy that you thought it wise to bring it to me first.
Yeah.
And so we're going to walk through this together. And then it will give them the assurance that, okay, so I can come to mommy with anything. You know, I tell my kids, there is nothing in this world that you cannot tell me. Trust me. So I hope that constantly telling them that will give them the confidence. And I'm also, like I said, nobody is perfect. I'm also working on my reactions daily. When they do come to me and say this, and I try. It's not 100%, but we're getting there. I try. These things come with constant practice. You just have to be intentional. Open the communication. If they don't talk to teenagers, some of them don't want to talk to you. At this stage in life, they want to just be by themselves in the computers. I'm in their faces, you know. If I don't see you in the living room when everybody else is watching Netflix, I will go to your room and bring you out. Come and sit here. Let's talk. What is it? This is family time. So you have to be intentional. Don't be so engrossed in what you're doing. It's not easy, but it is possible. Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you, sis. Addressing conflict in a calm and constructive way. You have to focus on finding solution rather than assigning blame. That's very key. And let's also remember that as a parent, whether for the father or the mother, you are their role model. Children learn by observing. If you are a parent who your lifestyle, if you don't want your children to copy the lifestyle you are currently running, you have to be intentional about adjusting it. You have to make the adjustment because they will copy everything. They will copy everything. Children learn by observing, so parents should model their behavior they want to see in their children. If you don't know how to manage life issues, you react, like she said, you flip. You find that there was a time I was once I just heard in my spirit, your son is doing what you are doing, so why are you reacting? I had to go and reparent myself. And I saw, I went to reparent myself because they will start to react the way you react. Everything you, as in, I had to reparent myself. So it is very key. It is very key because it is very key. That helps a lot. It helps a lot. So sis, over to you. Importance of being a role model. Importance of being a role model.
I'll take it from where you stopped. You said, yeah, we are the open book that our children read. And, you know, we all have chapters in our book that we don't read out loud. So again, I'm going to say, cast your mind back. If your teenager reacts in a certain way, take your mind back to when you were a teenager. Empathy, put yourself in their shoes. There's so much that the children these days are contending with that we didn't have to contend with. So it's the question of old parenting versus new parenting. Your son said it very well when he said, yeah, not my grandfather is not my father. So we tend to make the mistakes to think that, yes, we learn from our parents, but you know, when our parents were doing parenting, what they were contending with was totally different. So we need to tell ourselves the truth. We need to go back, wake up and smell the coffee. You need to educate and re-educate yourself. Sometimes the slangs that these children speak alone, you can take your son's phone or your daughter's phone and you will not understand anything. They have the language of their own. So you have to just update. If you want to stay relevant, as with anything in parenting, you must stay relevant, and so update and educate yourself. I was, trying to apply for something, and I noticed that the way they write CVs these days is completely different. So if you need to get a job, you need to update your resume with the current style that is required to make you put you at a competitive advantage. So as with parenting too, you have to be on your toes. Befriend them. You're not necessarily their friend. Let them draw the line, but befriend them. That's the only way. That's where communication comes in. You cannot be free or have a good relationship with somebody if there is a communication gap. So befriend them. Talk to them about everything and anything. So why I brought in the old style of parenting versus the new, in those days, there were hush-hush topics. There were things we couldn't talk about. There was no sex education. You dare not even say the S word in the house because your parents were living in the opinion that you don't even know anything about it. But these days, find out how to talk to your teenage daughters about sex, about
need support.
if you're talking to them, the internet will do a lot of talking for you, and it may not be the right things. So there should be no hush topics. Like I said, emphasize the need for them to come to you with anything and everything. Let your teenager be able to tell you that I'm crushing on that boy. It's safer for you. There should be no, there should be no hush topics in the house. Let them feel free to express themselves. And if they do speak in a way that is inappropriate, don't react as usual. Sit down with them. A lady shouldn't talk like that. You can't think for them, but you can lead them to understand that, and a reorientation, so that they will reposition themselves and begin to think along the right path. It's not something you can do in a day. It's a journey. Reward yourself for the steps and the progress. See yourself as a child also, because I like what you said. You are parenting yourself as well in the process. Most of the time, we learn from these children. None of us were parents before.
The parenting doesn't come with any manual. It doesn't come with any manual. No.
The parents. There is no manual, and there is no one way to be a good parent, but there are a million ways to be a good one. So when you start and you find out that it's not going away, reposition yourself and, rebrand yourself and get back in line.
Dear parents on this call, we encourage you, seek guidance from parenting groups. Seek counsel. There are people who have passed through the stage you have passed through. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep quiet. Don't feel bad, that you failed. No, there's no failure in parenting. You have to, gather your energy, re-strategize, and continue the parenting journey. It's not a one-off. And there's no manual. If you use my manual or her manual, it might not work. So you just have to continue the reparenting. Some people call it parenting. You have to parent yourself to parent a child. So you have to, if you need to take short courses, please take short courses. Whatever you need to do, please, you just have to, because she mentioned at the beginning that we are caregivers. Imagine if as a caregiver, your produce comes out as in all you have labored for, it turns out no, nobody ever wants that. So please, let us do what we have to do. Let's balance love. Let there be discipline, yes. We must learn as parents to ignore the minor mistakes. Choose your battles, parents. Choose your battles. Like, sometimes I feel, this child is too much on it, has been on this device for too long. One day I asked myself this question. I said, okay, so if it's not on that device, I'm not saying be on the device all through. I say if it's not on this device, what do I want this child to be doing? Is it not to monitor and say, okay, after so and so time, shut down and look for other creative ways? The truth is, parenting with every day's transaction of a mother and a father is tough. But we're encouraging you that it is doable. Balance it. Balance it, because you are raising somebody's wife and somebody's mother, and you are raising somebody's husband and somebody's father. That's a big assignment our Creator has given to each father and each mother. So Mimi, let's wrap up. We've extended today. What are your parting words for our viewers?
Wrapping up, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us. And on Total Quality Parenting, if there's nothing you're going to take away today, remember, there's no hard and fast rule. There's no one way to be a good parent, but a million ways to be a great one. So keep at it, and remember, it's a joint. Back in the day, we had this proverb in Africa: it takes more than one person to parent a child. It takes a whole village. Yeah. So don't do it alone. Find support system, get networks, hook up with other moms or dads, and we'll be fine one day at a time. Yeah. We love you. Thank you so much for.
Remember, lead with outstanding openness. Your children need that love. They need the love. They need the openness, so that you can raise victorious, engaging, and ecstatic children. Remember, lead with outstanding openness. Lead with love, so that you are raising victorious, engaging, eloquent, and ecstatic children. That way, you'll be a proud father and a proud mother. Thank you for joining today. We'll see you again next week, Wednesday. Please stay tuned. So, my lovely sister, see you again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.